Welcome, fam, to the week 8 recap of this 2025 season of the FFFL. And I have the pleasure of bringing one of the league's worst teams along with mine, Suck a Dick, and the representative, Sam. Welcome, sir.
Turn this flag upside down or something.
Yeah, I feel the same way. That W stands for Winnington, and it's not happening this year. Really, been a rough one, but it's funny. You and I were messaging back and forth like over the weekend and stuff, and you're at a wedding, um, in Traverse City. Is that where the wedding
Yeah.
was at?
Yep. Way up north. It was technically in Sutton's Bay, which is like a little further north, but for any wine aficionados, Traverse City has some really nice wineries and everything up there. So
Oh, okay, that's cool.
yeah.
Is so it's along the lake.
Yeah, it's like a little bit more inward. They have like a really nice bay area. So it's like you go up to Traverse City and then there's like a couple like peninsulas that shoot upwards and the wineries were up there. So we stayed in Traverse City. The wedding was like 30 minutes north of there on one of the wineries. And so
Oh, okay.
that's a nice foliage this time of year.
Yeah, man, you sent me a photo that looked like beautiful, like of the wedding. I was like, that is real nice. And just like you said, like in Michigan, the colors get really nice, and you have a lot of, especially this specific time, you have so
Oh
many
yeah.
different colors going on, which is really cool. I was on Traverse City. Don't they, do they have like, I mean, a distillery and stuff, right? It's like, isn't there
Yeah,
like
Traverse
a?
City Distilling, they do like the cherry whiskey is like their big thing because they do like a cherry festival up in Traverse City every
Okay,
year. So, like cherries their big thing. They have like cherry gift shops, and then Traverse City Distilling does like a cherry whiskey. They have some other ones too, but there's a couple breweries and a couple distilling places up there, so it's a nice, fun little spot.
cool. I like it. And you also shared some golf photos. You got to get around in. Did you go by yourself? Did you go with
I
others?
I did, yeah. I've been doing just some solo rounds. You get lucky sometimes, sometimes you don't with who you're playing with. I had a couple slower individuals with me, but we were able to, yeah, the photo I sent you was on 18 just as it was going down. So the putting was tough, but on 18 because you couldn't really see as much anymore once the sun went down. I
Yeah.
was like, the guy was like, "Oh, I don't know where this goes." I was like, "I can't read this green. It's dark." I was like, "I'm
Yeah.
just gonna hit it towards the hole and hope for the best." So I was like, "I can't see."
It looked beautiful. I went solo yesterday. You convinced me actually to do that because I wasn't going to. I'm like, I got so much to do, and I agreed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can get nine. You're right. I can get nine in like an
Yeah.
hour and a half. And
Earmuffs, Allison, if you're watching this.
oh, I even told her. I even told her what you said too. So she got a good kick out of that as well. And for those of you like you brought this up, but for those of you who come to Memorial Day, we talked about doing golf. So you mentioned going golfing, and I would like to throw it out for more. Like if others would like to
Oh yeah.
go golfing. So obviously we host on that Sunday for Memorial Day, but probably the day before or something like that is we can get a round in, and I would just request off of work and just say, hey, turn that into a thing. I'd love to be able to like maybe start doing that. We talked about it this past year. You brought it up. You're kind of really pushing for that golf
Mhm.
outing, and I would
Yeah,
like to
and you
do that.
live
That'd
right
be
by the
cool.
course right there too, so I mean we
Yeah,
could do that one or any other one, but
yeah, and it's a super easy course. It's right by my house. Like, so even if you didn't want to go golfing, if you just wanted to like ride in the cart and like drink and hang out or
yeah.
something,
Oh
that's
yeah.
always welcome too. I don't know how they treat that. You probably have to pay just to do that, but you
Sometimes
know,
sometimes the courses have like riding fees where it's like $10 or something you can just like ride along.
oh, okay,
Just because it's like that extra cart space on
yeah.
there, like an extra rider, so but
Oh, dude, don't even get me started, man. I went played Heritage Oaks, which is in Northbrook. Maybe not. I don't know if you've ever played that there at all. Real nice. Like it was a nice course, and for a public course, like the actual build, like there was probably a brand new clubhouse and like restaurant area. Like the restaurant was good. But anyways, like we were getting just like played up on. Well, first off, I was with two slow people as well, these older guys, but it was whatever. But then I was like, man, these guys are like upon us. Like these then I found out like every single one's riding their own fucking cart. So the foursome had each had their own cart. I fucking hate it. And I get that if you all did it separately, I guess. But at the end of the day, like so at first I normally let people like ride through if we need to. We let like a single walker
yeah.
go through. I was not letting them through. I'm like, nope, y'all fuckers did this to yourselves by getting four cards for four, like one
Oh
for
yeah.
each of you. I hate that. That's so
Yeah.
irritating.
There's pace of play and then there's like annoying. Like some of it's like the guy I was with had like a $300 putter and he practiced like three putts in a row and then he just like missed the putt. And I was like, okay, you're blowing it by the hole. I was like, we can do this a little quicker.
Yeah,
But like everyone's got their own pace, but it's like, that's the unrealistic, not to get on my soapbox, but the unrealistic thing about public golf is like everybody thinks it should take like 2, 3 hours when like in reality it should take four. It should take no more than four if you're playing 18, but it's like
yeah,
you're not going to get out and you're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to get out here the middle of the weekend or the middle of the day. I'm going to play, in
right.
2 hours. Like it's going to be 4 hours. So like you
Yeah,
got to just chill out and enjoy the ride.
yeah. I would say the same. The only time it's going to be quicker is like what I did yesterday. I'm the only one out
Yeah.
there. There's not very many people out there. It's cold, so I got my nine in like an hour and a half,
Oh yeah.
and so whatnot. But yeah, so let's try to do that for this coming Memorial Day. Anybody that's interested in doing it, I know Bob, you golf, Andy, if you were to come down, or come over, like love to have you. But we'll try to set that up for definitely you, me. You mentioned Haley, your dad, so we'll get that going. Anybody else wants to join? Please we'll throw it out there as it gets closer, but would
Oh
love to
yeah.
have more people out there and just make like a weekend thing of it too if we can. So I'm all in. And that was Sam's suggestion, everybody, not mine. So you try to get it going this fast year, and
I'll take the blame. I'll take
I
the
kind of
blame.
kiboshed it because I was like, I don't know that I can get done with it in time. So
Oh yeah.
anywho, all right. Well, I'm gonna go do my thing, as you know, share my screen, do all the stuff, get frustrated, all the shit. So I'm just gonna because technology. This is the Week 8 recap of the 2025 season. See, this is the stuff right here. Now, there finally it goes. The bar goes up. I don't know technology. But we'll go through the Week 8 recap, then hit up the injury report. May have a new person on. We don't know. Waiver wire, what to do's. Hit the trade block. Hey, no trades again. Comment of the week, and then the week 9 matchups. Are you ready to roll with me?
Let's do it.
I agree. Let's do it. All right, we're gonna start off with I feel bad. I actually feel bad. So last week, first off, the Cheesehead champions have gotten their heads fucking stomped 3 weeks in a row. It's not even close. I feel bad because since we made this category, it has always been EJ as the loser. So and this week was funny because last week it was the air attack that beat the Cheesehead champions, and this week it was the ground game that stomped the Cheeseheads. Any notes that you have from the game? I'm nothing can make it different, but
Yeah. I mean, we were kind of talking about like you and me just about like not really watching a heck of a lot of games this weekend, but I was
yeah,
listening to a podcast and they were saying that it was like there was only one game that was decided by less than 10 points, like as a spread the whole weekend.
wow,
Um, and it's like I was looking through these scores and stuff, and I was like, it was like we were talking. It was pretty much the same thing. It was like
yep,
you either had guys on the teams that was getting blown out, or you had guys on the teams that were scoring, in the 30s this weekend. And it's like multiple touchdowns for guys, long runs. I think James Cook had 215 in like the second quarter or something like that, like two
yeah.
touchdowns and 200 yards already. So it's like it's just those two alone pretty much won the matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Barkley and Cook combined just outscored his entire team. He's struggling to find a quarterback at the time. Lots of stuff just going wrong for EJ. But the only thing going right now, keeping Rasheed Rice, that man's looking good, has performed well his first 2 weeks, has gotten just shy of 20 both weeks. So that's been a good pickup for him. But other stuff he's going to figure out. And he has Nakua coming back this week, hopefully. We'll see. But yeah, I also played the Bengals defense thinking that they might be able to get some turnovers against the Jets, and they also cost me mightily in this week's matchup. But sorry, EJ, that you've gotten your cheese head stomped 3 weeks in a row. Next week, maybe it won't be the same. Maybe. We'll see. All right, next up, Kamani Hurts Lecho. And that Thursday night game definitely was a fairly deciding factor in this game here. Any note that you have for this week?
I mean, I was just looking through. It was really weird. I feel like there was a lot of zeros just for like starters in different
Yeah,
games this week. Like it was
yeah,
weird. I was like looking through it, almost thinking it was like an error. Like I had one, it was this. Like there was
yeah.
a couple
You
other
had
ones where it was
Judy.
just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he has Quentin Johnson. What EJ had Ferguson that had his
Ferguson. Yeah, there
zero.
was like a couple. I was just like, is this like a scoring error or what? But like, whenever you're like, especially like a wide receiver or something, like even with half point PPR, like you're expecting like, okay, maybe like 5, 6, 7
Right.
points as like a baseline. But whenever you post a zero, it's almost like, what are you gonna do? But I mean, this
Yeah.
was just like a Jalen Hurts game. You just came in and just, after kind of not being so great, he just kind of put up points and points. I think he has like 4 total touchdowns and this week. So
Yeah, he had a lot, and I think the past few weeks they turned it around. It was like people were
yeah.
worried about him. I was never worried about the Eagles just because I'm like they have so much talent. I'm not worried about these people, and they've shown it in the past that they can do it. So like I'm not
Mhm.
worried about that side. But you're right, and I think they wanted to take it to the Giants after losing to the Giants. Didn't they lose to the Giants like in New
Yeah,
York?
like week
And
week
so I think
two.
this was a statement game too that was going to be made in that one. But yeah, that Thursday night matchup when you get a zero on Licho Logis side with Quentin Johnston, and on the other side, he not only gets 26 from Kamani, his defense, the Chargers defense, also gets 13. That's a huge swing and a really, a nice head start for Beat the Swifties, who've now starting to gain some momentum here and becoming a really a team to not be reckoned with at that point. But Lito goes down once again, this time in an ass whooping this week, and hopefully he'll be able to turn it around soon as well with this running back duo. We'll see what next week looks like. All right, now we have JT or bust because that's kind of what happened for the Chubby Down syndrome this week. And for a team that has stomped heads recently and is scoring a lot, I do give also some grace of didn't break 100, but still was able to win. And I think that's how this game flows. So, yes, like Licho technically would have beat him this week, barely. But hey, a team like that 7-1, running hot, doing well, they should be able to get some of these W's also. What's something that you see in this matchup as to why it may have gone that way?
I mean, I just think like you look at the points Zach left on the bench with May, but it's like I mean, it's like just a weird week where both your quarterbacks are playing good defenses. Like you either got the Broncos or the Browns. So it was like, you make a toss up there. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think the scary part about it is
Eh,
just like, I mean, obviously Jonathan Taylor getting that points, but it's just kind of when you have a week where your quarterback doesn't get points and you still win, that's kind of a scary thing. What's up, girl?
Hi,
What do you think about this matchup on the screen here? What do you see? Give us some intel.
Any names you recognize?
Patrick
I was
Mahomes
gonna say Mahomes. Where do you see him at? Where's he from? What does he do?
is from Taylor Swift's boyfriend is like pink.
Yep.
Taylor
Yep.
Swift has done more than the NFL flag football grow the game, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, this girl loves it. Who are some of your favorite players that you talk about a lot? Who's your favorite player in the
Mm,
NFL? Like, who do you like? It's a quarterback.
I know
Well, say his name then.
Josh Allen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Who's you also liked the guy that played last night for the Green Bay Packers.
Love.
Yeah, you like Jordan Love as well.
Boo.
Sam's a big Bears fan. He
We
does
don't
not.
like the Packers.
I like the Packers, but I also like the Bears.
So yeah, I know. I don't know. You'll learn as you grow older. It's not a thing.
A
Yeah.
lot of teams.
That's all
Yeah.
right. Maybe that's a good rationale thinking. You're not going to let a sports team ruin your week like the rest of us. So that's a healthy way to look at it.
That's very well said. You'll always be happy because you'll be able to see certain players. Like, do you like Travis Kelsey?
Yeah,
Do you like Patrick Mahomes?
yeah.
Okay. So you like, certain other players too. Oh, she was also rooting for you like the Vikings, the Minnesota Vikings, because they're purple.
Yeah.
What about the Lions? You like the Packers, the Bears, the Vikings? You like the Lions?
Mm,
Yeah, a little bit, kind of.
Yeah, because they're in Detroit by you.
Yeah.
So she
Haley's a
likes them.
Lions fan.
There you go.
We
um,
actually
do you are you guys gonna go to one of the games?
no, because the tickets are expensive.
I
Because the
bet.
Lions are good.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about that, but I bet they are expensive because they're so good now for a team
Yeah.
that's always wanted to be that back to
Yeah.
those Barry Sanders days of feeling like you got a chance.
And it's indoor. It's an indoor stadium too, so it's like the weather's not going to shy away people. But
Yeah.
we were in Costco a couple weeks ago, and it was just Haley's dad's birthday, and we found a pair of Lions, the Zubaz like pattern pants. So
Yeah.
it was like the blue, the white, and the black, and it had a Lions logo on it. So we bought it for a birthday gift for him.
That's cool. I like that. Little PJ. It was pajama day for you.
Mm,
Oh yeah, you can't see it. He can't see it. That's okay. But
I know, but
you had pajama day at school where you had to bring pajamas and a stuffy.
yeah,
Nice. Which stuffy did you bring?
I from DC.
Of course.
Yeah, he's a ride or die right there,
Gotta,
DC.
gotta be DC.
Yeah. All right, you can ask Sam one more question, then we're gonna get back to this. Okay.
I like Dak too.
That's true. You like Dak Prescott. I forgot you like
You
Dak.
just
You
like
like
the
Dak
quarterbacks.
and mom's quarterback.
Who is it? I can't remember. Bo Nix,
Oh,
of
Bo
course,
Nick.
at a restaurant. My This guy right here,
Hey,
he told me that to stop saying Bonix and to say it until the game started. And I was like, Bonix, Bonix, Bonix.
yeah, because every she would see him, she's like, "There's Bo Nix," and she kept saying it. And of course, the quarterbacks are
Like,
on the screen all the time. So then
oh yeah.
we really were annoyed of like, "All right, you need to stop saying it." So then we went to commercial. I was like, "You could say Bo Nix as much as you want right now. Once that game starts, once it starts back up, you cannot say his name again." And so she did
I
it,
love it.
and yeah, she kept going Bo Nix, Bo Nix, Bo Nix. So it was
You
good,
know where
but
you know where you gotta go if you're on vacation. You gotta go to a place called Bojangles.
No.
Oh yeah.
where's that?
Get some it's in like North Carolina, Tennessee. It's like kind of like a
Chicken,
Popeyes. They have like
yeah, like a chicken, yeah, chicken place.
legendary sweet tea, Bojangles.
Okay, I'm in. I like Bojangles. I don't know it, but I like the name, and I'm in for some good chicken. So,
Oh yeah.
all right, you say bye to Sam.
Bye.
All right, see you later.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Bye. Love you too.
Thank you for stopping in, girl. Yeah, we were talking about this game, and
Yeah.
I don't
It's
remember
just like
where.
it's weird. Like it's the scary thing about Zach's team is just like you have a down game from Dowdle, down game from Prescott, and he's still able to pull out the dub with just like some consistent point scoring. Like Falcons give you 0, Dowdle only gives you 7, your quarterback gives you 7, you still pull it out. But kind of a weird underperformance from McCaffrey, and then you're hoping for the
Yeah,
Steelers to give you like a turnover or two to keep this thing close by, and then they just do the opposite.
yeah. It was, I didn't see much of that game. We saw the beginning of it, and then went to bed, and halftime was not as great. If I recall, most of the scoring was done in the second half, or I would assume in that
Yeah,
game, right? And so I didn't. But think about it. Yeah, we had also a lot of defense. You mentioned a lot of zeros, so Falcons was a zero again. But a lot of defenses this week that were played that had negative points. I want to say at least 3 of our 12 teams had negative from their D's, and another couple at least that had zero. So you're not getting any help from the defenses this week. But you're right, uncharacteristic game from Christian McCaffrey, who they need to rely on. But Houston's defense is really tough, so they did a good job. But JT, Jonathan Taylor, just continues to amaze, and he looked great. Like that long run, that was the thing I thought. I was like, man, when he beat the guy to the edge, it was like you don't even realize how fast some of these guys are too when they're
Oh yeah.
doing their thing. But loving the Colts right now too. You notice that wasn't a team that Tage said she liked, by the way. Sorry, everybody. But nice job, Chubby Down syndrome, taking another victory. And so, bro, uncharacteristic week because normally around that 120 mark in general. But yeah, some rough ones from some guys they normally count on. Next up is our matchup, man. This was an interesting one too. Yeah, you said you didn't watch much football this week, so I know you may not have been as involved with it. But I always like to ask when you're on, like, what's going through your head as this week's going, or anything that you noted from your end of it. Which, by the way, I didn't realize that every single one of your players was an away
I didn't know that either.
game.
Um, that's crazy. No, I was looking through it. I mean, I just don't really have any depth, like, and so I kind of bank on Jaden Daniels, which luckily Justin Fields was able to score me decent amount of points. Um, but so Jaden Daniels went down. I went to pick up Mariota, realized they were playing the Chiefs, was like, I don't really want to do that. So then I picked up Jets' other quarterback is Tyrod Taylor. And
Yeah.
that's when you had texted me when I was at the wedding and like you were like, hey, he's out again. And I was just like, I'll figure it out tomorrow. And then I was just like, Justin Fields, you're my guy. So
You did
but I
well.
mean, I made the switch. I put Aaron Jones off the IR back in because I thought he would at least split carries with
Yeah.
Mason, and he just didn't. I see he's dropped a couple passes, just didn't really look good. So it's kind of the same thing as like my Thursday night game. Hawkinson, I expected to get a little bit more out of him, and so I mean, my other tight end wouldn't have done me any good anyways. But so those two really kind of killed me, and then Jerry Judy just having 2 targets and 0 catches also really killed me. So those couple ones, but I don't really think I would have changed anything.
Yeah, there wasn't much to change, I think, on either end. And again, I think that same Thursday night matchup, because of the lopsided nature to that matchup, that impacted us heavily, right? I had only one guy going of Gadsden, but he had a great game, whereas your two combined for half of his points. You know what I mean? The two
Mhm.
guys, and so like having those head starts, I like playing at least one player on Thursday if I have it, or if I'm between guys, I'll do that often just to see what I need to do to adjust anything else for the future. But I think that always kind of puts you in a hole and you're like trying to dig out of it. But again, like your defense got 18, Bears 0. Like you had Jerry Judy 0. And
Mhm.
Judy's having such a like I don't even know. I think he's like almost unplayable now as you're going through it. It's like it feels like you should be able to, but to your point, like your lack of depth and what you have going on there is tough.
Yeah,
But
and I mean he sits in my flex, but it's like I haven't really. I mean, also because it's not local, but I haven't really ever caught a Patriots game to see like what they're doing with Stevenson and Travion Henderson, because it was like Henderson in college was like a really good pass catcher, and like that's kind of how he made his bread and butter in the running back. But then it was like they were saying he's just not picking up like pass coverages very well. So then it's like, okay, well then he's losing all those reps. But then it's like Ramondre Stevenson, who used to be pretty good, was like had a fumbling issue. So I was like, okay, well maybe they'll go back to him. But it's like,
yeah,
you look at it and you're like, okay, is he gonna get more carries, more touches, more catches? And then it's like you put him in, he gets like 3 points. And then you're like, okay, did he even play? Like,
yeah, Trayvon's been weird because you're right. He was brought in as like the pass catching back, and
mhm,
actually in college he was a really good pass blocker. But obviously he's not picking up the defensive schemes well with
right.
them. They don't have that full trust, and it is Vrabel. Vrabel's not big on playing rookies. He's just one of those coaches, which fucking hate
Yeah.
those coaches. Like because
Yeah.
Travion this week though, like he had 10 carries, I think, and he got like 75 yards on the 10 carries. Let me just tell you, that's
Yeah,
a
but then he
pretty
fumbled
fucking.
once. So then you're like, okay, is he gonna drop down again? Is he like,
And if they do that, what
hey,
hypocrites? Because Ramondre's fumbled how many times? Like 3 or 4 times already this season, and Antonio Gibson was kind of similar, and I think had already
right?
fumbled like multiple. Are we gonna get a Millie sighting? Hey, Millie! Oh, what a big girl. What's she weighing now? What's she up to?
How much you weigh?
No.
Probably like 60 pounds. She's a big
Okay.
old thing.
Yeah. I see them paws.
Oh yeah, she got them big old paws. Oh girl.
Which I did
Yeah.
talk to Allison because I know she said she was talking with you about like winter and all that kind of stuff, and we still have like all those large ones that Jack used, like the little paw thing. So
Oh yeah.
maybe at Thanksgiving we'll bring them, and then you can see if it
Yeah.
works. In the very beginning, they're weird about it. Like Jack was always
Oh
weird,
yeah,
but
she
like
gonna
he
hate
got
it.
used to it.
Oh
But
yeah. She'll probably hate it. We got her like a little t-shirt and Haley's gonna put like little pumpkins on it for Halloween and we'll see if she tolerates that at all. But
nice. Gonna go trick or treating with her just to get your own candy.
yeah. Just get a sticker in the yard, have people hopefully we get some people coming up. So
That'd be awesome. That's cool. All right, well, we'll get away from our matchup 'cause I'm sure both of
yeah.
us are just happy it's over.
Gross.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Haymakers help kicker hardly know her to the high score of the week. I'm mentioning this because, of course, I mentioned on last week's podcast that she told me she had never been high score of the week in all, and like in the past 3 seasons.
Hmm.
Last week was her first time ever getting high score of the week, and she has now done it 2 weeks in a row. Lordy. And I mentioned the Haymakers because if you actually look at their teams, they score similarly, except for there's 3 different players on her end that actually had higher scores than Tyler's top scoring player for Murphy's Law. So
Yeah.
ultimately, Murphy's Law had a great game. 123 and a half points is a great game. I mean, you expect to win that most of the time. However,
Right.
kicker hardly nowhere took it with 146 and a half at that point. So a little bit of a butt spanking. Any note that you had from this matchup?
I mean, it's just nice to see Brees Hall finally kind of perform. I mean, because it's like you just kind of been waiting on that, like, and he finally kind of had his game. So, I mean, we'll see if it was just the Bengals or if it was, actually that. But again, like this week was just so weird because it's like you look at these scores and it's like you kind of predict like I when I'm looking at the players that they're playing, it's like oh, I would do the exact same. Like,
Yeah.
oh, Bijan Robinson against Miami, like hell yeah, you're freaking foaming at the mouth against that. And then he has six
Yep.
points.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, what the heck? And then like, K Dotton, obviously a tight end, but then like Baker only threw for whatever it was, like
Yeah.
no touchdowns, and especially because they got stuck. Like, didn't they get like stuck on the goal line or something like that? And then it was like, well, use your
Well,
tight
Otten,
ends.
yeah, Otten was like just shy of a touchdown on a review. I think they called it a touchdown, and then after review, he was like just short of it or something like that. So he could have had a much bigger day. I mean, at that point, he's
Right.
got 6 more points. But yeah, you also think with Otten, they're out. They were out with Godwin. They're out Evans. Ibuka is still like hurt. He played, but he was hurt. But even Ibuka, as you saw in Zach scoring, had like 5 points. But against New Orleans, some of these game scripts, you think, okay, well, they have to do this. Like the Bills, for example, Josh Allen had a great game still. So did James Cook because you got to score. You're going to score points on the top teams, and then they can coast. But for the New
Hmm.
Orleans game versus Tampa Bay, it was kind of weird. Like it just seemed like they were up and they were just going to, I guess, run. I don't know. It was just very odd
Yeah.
matchup in that one. But
Yeah. This was a weird week too, because I think wasn't this the week where there's like a million teams on buys?
yeah,
So it was
six
like
teams on bye.
yeah, so it was like buys and injury because like we always kind of talk about like, oh, is there anything you would have done different? And I just like pulled up their rosters, and Allison had like 6 people either hurt or on buys, and then
Yeah.
it's like this thing, it's like you really, especially when you're in like a league that has like this many teams, it's like sometimes you get to the point where you're like, let me just throw a body out there and hope that they do a little something.
Yeah, it's very weird. Very weird. So we'll get away from it. But all I'll tell you, Tyler, is your team's looking good, man. Like 123 and a half is a really good score. Great depth on his side as well. Allison's
Hmm.
team's looking good. So these were 2 top teams really going against each other in a nice matchup. And I think this is the one that Glenn and I even said last week. This is one that we wanted to watch, and they performed both teams. So nice job.
Can't
And
wait
then
to see
here's our
Allison get to
last.
the championship and lose again, right?
Oh yeah. So, hey, but maybe she'll take that.
Hey, at least she'll
Um,
be in the winning bracket, right?
yeah, she should be. All right, our last matchup, Ricky's Rodent Rockets against Meow Meow, and I put the Rodent Rockets getting crafty because Ricky's Rodent Rockets take this one with 115 over Meow Meow, who scored about 97. And main reason is Tucker Craft had a humongous game on Sunday night. That's very helpful. Anything that you note from this matchup on either side?
No, I mean, pretty like kind of same thing we were talking about all the other ones. It was just kind of like, you expect Darnell Mooney to give you a little more. You don't expect, only 10 points for Atlanta in that game, but then,
Absolutely.
and Pitts, especially like we were talking like with London out, it's like, okay, the ball's got to go somewhere, but then it's Kirk Cousins throwing the ball, and so you're like, okay, but still Miami's been a dumpster fire, so you kind of are like, okay, we're gonna go for those two. So you see that, and then a tight end getting 30 points is not something you see every day. So
Yeah.
those two swings really kind of give you the edge.
You hit it on the head. I thought it was a good move by Glenn to get Darnell Mooney. I even did it in another league, thinking the same thing of London's out and Kirk Cousins last year, like he's the one who got Darnell Mooney to Atlanta. He specifically said, "I want this guy," and he showed it. They actually had good chemistry, did well when they were there. So I thought, man, what a good move. Kirk Cousins is quarterback. Darnell Mooney's the lead receiver. And then as I'm watching it too and trying to track it, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like he's literally got 0 points for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
It was awful. So Glenn, I thought that was a great move. It just unfortunately didn't work out for you. To me, what I put as my note for that is the process was correct in my opinion. Unfortunately, the result didn't come through on that. But Ricky's Rodent Rockets takes another one to stay first in the West at 6-2. All right, well that wraps up this week's matchup. So we got to get into the week 8 sponsor break, and you know it's really seasonal. This time we got a big holiday coming up this year or this week. I mean, Friday, big deal. Tage has been talking about it for like 2 weeks now. I'm pretty sure. So this week's sponsor we have. Come on, the FFFL haunted house. We'll bring the whole family to the scariest haunted house this side of the Atlantic. The FFFL House of Horrors includes some of the best frights the season has to offer. You'll start at the bottom with some of the worst, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Sam, Denzel the Demon, Louis the Butcher, and Evil Joker EJ. Then you'll make your way to the second level where you'll find So Bro Double Trouble, Machine Maniac Bob, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Meow Meow, and Tyler the Long Range Assassin. And finally, you'll reach the top only to be sent screaming to your mothers when you come face to face with Allison the Kid Chaser, Killer Kyle, Andy the Sling Blade, and Zany Zach ready to stomp your head. Entry is free if you make it out alive. What a good sponsor for this week's recap. And I'm pretty sure they paid just as much as Spirit Halloween pays all the department stores they could be at. Gotta be like zero. I don't even know.
You think you could have snapped like a photo that I had with my mouth closed?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, Sam. That's not you. That's Dr. Sam. So I don't
Gosh,
know.
my evil twin.
Yeah. And that's why we have that one, because it is not you, okay? It is Dr. Sam. But we do have a report from someone that Dr. Sam has sent to us instead. I
I heard
have
he's on.
not.
I heard he's on strikes. The checks have been bouncing.
Oh, have they really?
Hmm.
That's
All
kind of
the
sad.
sponsors, they're not. You're not really getting that much money. They're not really. Admissions free to the haunted house. They can't really pay Dr. Sam. Checks have been bouncing. It's a whole thing.
Well, I will say in the podcast world, how I understand it is that all the sponsors, like, you have to kind of like show the numbers, and then usually you get your sponsor check like months later. And
Mm,
that's one
mm.
of the unfortunate parts about this podcast game is that I end up getting the checks like, once the season's pretty much done, and at that point, I just forget where to send it.
Yeah,
That's
because he
kind of
hasn't
how it
gotten
is.
it from like the previous years either. So That makes
Well,
sense.
once the season's over, I think the commissioner just kind of forgets what's going on.
Yeah, that checks out.
Week 8 injury update. Saquon Barkley, running back, Philadelphia Eagles, groin injury. Cam Scatabo, running back, New York Giants, dislocated ankle, likely out for the remainder of the season. Luther Burden, wide receiver, Chicago Bears. Left game with a concussion, will be day-to-day until he clears protocol. Quinshon Judkins, running back, Cleveland Browns, left the game in the third quarter with a shoulder injury, considered day-to-day at this time. Isaiah Pacheco, running back, Chiefs, left game with MCL sprain. Carson Wentz, quarterback, Vikings, out for the season with a shoulder injury. Overall update, Lamar Jackson likely to return this week. Jaden Daniels will be practicing this week but still questionable for week 9. Kyler Murray expected to return this week. Brock Purdy, too early to tell. We'll have to see this Wednesday. JJ McCarthy will return this week. Michael Phoenix leaning towards return this week. Bryce Young, team is hoping he can practice on Wednesday. Saquon, bye. Isaiah Pacheco, likely week to week at this point. Nico Collins, likely returning from concussion. Puka Neko, likely to return this week. Drake London, still day-to-day. Jacoby Myers, likely to return. Ricky Pearsall, likely to return to practice. Brock Bowers, likely to return, maybe in limited capacity. Cole Kmet, still day-to-day, did not practice last week.
Well, thank you. What is her current title for
She's a nurse
here?
practitioner now.
Okay. Thank you, nurse
So
practitioner
the
Haley.
money will have to go up for that sponsor.
Oh, that's true. So now that she has a higher degree and all the
Yeah.
stuff, I got to make sure that we get more money. We kind of got to see how the haunted house thing goes.
Yeah.
But
Big day this weekend, we'll see. Free entry, so
yeah,
really,
but I think
should be
I think
getting
the
some money.
contract said 10% of profit.
Ah,
So
yes.
we will see how that goes. That's
It should
all.
be
That's
good.
all I can say.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was the injury report, and now we got to get into these waiver wire what to do's. But before I can do that, we got a call in from somebody, and so we got to take this call usually, and we like to give him his time. He's become a regular on the show, and we really do appreciate this man for really supporting the show and really being probably our top supporter of the show and someone who's really wanting this to become a big thing. Carl, welcome, Carl.
Hi there, this is Carl. How are you?
We're we're doing good, man. Good to have you calling back in. I missed your voice.
I love this program so much that I just keep watching. Who do you have on tonight?
We have the manager of Suck a Dick, Sam Corbel.
Oh, he's not one of them kind of fellers, is he? Oh my. And you have a strange lot of characters in your league, that's for sure.
That's true. I don't judge him by his team name.
Oh,
True.
true.
Judge me by my wins and losses.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
sound like that other character. The last time I called in, he said all he does is win games. That ain't true.
No, I said wins and losses.
So, so is this Dr. Sam?
No, that's my brother.
Your brother?
Not like Greg's my brother-in-law. Dr. Sam's my brother.
Your brother from another mother. All right.
Correct, yeah. I make my
So,
living on sports gambling.
oh, okay. Well, how's life treating you then? Because I can't imagine you betting too much on some of these people.
We'll let you know later tonight, depending on how Kennesaw State does against UTEP. Big
Who?
matchup in the midweek QC.
Who?
What?
Midweek
Yeah.
CUSA. It's not as nice as the midweek MAC, which starts MACtion starts next week. So as once you roll the calendar or the clocks change on November, then MACtion starts. But we got midweek CUSA action going today. James Madison's taking on North Texas. We got Kennesaw State taking on UTEP.
Is this
So
football or basketball or?
this is football.
Football. Wow. I
Yeah,
tell you what,
yeah.
I just got so damn confused. I don't know what we're talking about now. Okay. So you say he's your brother, Dr. Sam. Is he kind of like, is he a good doctor?
Yeah, I mean, he's been known to take a couple bribes here and there, but there was a pretty bad settlement that happened last year. Stayed out of the press, which is why he does these pro bono work for the football league here. So we like to just kind of brush it under
Bro,
the rug, though.
you mean Greg is pocketing all that money from sponsorships?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's more of a pro bono work. It's more of a community service type thing that he's got to do. So
we,
he's got to give
we
back
are
to the community.
we are the less fortunate.
Exactly.
Well, shoot, I had some questions for Dr. Sam. I was hoping I could catch him, but you know, Greg, you and I talked before, and I was kind of pitching for Stefania Bell from ESPN, but
True.
I hate to break the news. It's probably not going to happen because I got this letter from ESPN that said something about deceased and desist. Then I got a protection order from Stefania herself, something about stalking. I don't know, but so I don't think she's going to be joining us. So I think Dr. Sam's going to be safe for a while. But
Oh,
I'll keep.
Carl, Dr. Sam said he did get your pictures, and you probably just got to put some antifungal on that, okay?
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Hey, Carl, I got a question for you, actually.
Yes, sir.
There was a matchup in the FFFL recently where the Licho Logis went up against Ricky's Rodent Rockets. And if I recall, Ricky's Rodent Rockets won that matchup and essentially won lunch. Do you feel like Licho Logis paid in fried taters and mustard?
Well, first of all, what the fuck's a leecho? Oh, sorry, this is a family show. I'm sorry. I don't know what a leecho is, but I do like them fried taters and mustard. But I kind of got to do that on my own. Sam, you like them fried taters and mustard? You like crinkly or the shoestring? What do you like?
Sam, you want to? Yeah, you
Oh,
say
is
first.
waffle an option?
They're
Oh,
fried taters, sure. Yeah.
I love a good waffle fry. Maybe not with mustard. Maybe give me a little barbecue or maybe a little Chick-fil-A sauce with that.
And you're even fancier than that last feller that had kit. Yeah.
Well, the other guy's he's retired now. He's on a budget.
I gotcha. Well, not, no. That young feller, he was kind of smart britches, but that was a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
oh yeah, Tyler.
So,
Yeah, he's real into it now. I don't know. He's more. I can already tell. Tyler's more of a catch-up guy. You just look at him and you know.
yeah, yep, yep. So you bet on these people, but who do you like? Did you happen to see them Hoosiers? Now that was an ass whooping right there. I'm telling you, man. They beat
are
them
you
brutes.
are you from Indiana, Carl? Where's that accent from? You sound like you're down from the bayou. You sound like you're brothers with Coach Ed Orgeron.
Well, I'm kind of like Johnny Cash. I'm kind of everywhere.
So you're
I
from
just
Arkansas.
nope, nope, nope.
Wasn't Johnny
Although,
Cash from Arkansas?
although I do know some Walmart hoes, but no, I'm not from Arkansas.
Yeah, Carl, I imagine you frequent the Walmart.
Well,
You
There's
going
some
to Wally World a lot?
in there. Well, I might have been in there today. Who knows? It's hard to tell one from another. But
That's true. They all look alike. Yeah, I kind of know it. Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Sam, who do you root for? Who do you like to root for?
For in the college game,
Sure.
I don't really have a team. I live in Michigan now, so the big Michigan State game was last weekend, so that's a pretty big rivalry. But I just like good matchups. I like watching. I liked Oregon wore some Grateful Dead jerseys this weekend, but I'm sure, as you know, Indiana already beat Oregon, so
I heard that. I did hear that. Yep. Yep. Well, yeah. Being in Michigan, I guess you don't really have any loyalties, but you're betting on whoever Kennesaw State or whatever the
yeah.
hell. Oh my God.
You
Midweek
tip?
CUSA. Yep.
You know, there is some help out there for you. 1-800 bets off. That'll help
Mhm.
you a lot.
It's only a problem if you admit it.
Yeah, okay.
Hey,
So
Carl, you might want to call 1-800 Beats Off. That'll help you with your issue.
now wait a minute. Wait a minute. I didn't name I don't go by Sucka Ditka, that's for sure. So hang on there.
Well, I think
It's
they
just
might be able
it's
to.
an homage to the great Mike Ditka.
Well, and they may be able to help you with your fungal issue.
Oh,
Yeah.
not the full issue. Okay. But so you watched that Wolverine game the other day, right? With who won that game anyway?
State lost. They did not look good. Michigan won by 6 or 7, I think.
Oh, well, you know the difference between a dollar bill and Michigan Wolverines is, don't you?
I don't, but I'd love for you to tell me.
Dollar's good for 4 quarters.
Oh, I like that.
Playing. But,
You always got some good ones, Carl.
the reason I called is because I was hoping to get a question in about injuries, but
Okay. Well, I think we could help you.
Yeah, we can give it a try.
so I hear this quarterback from the Colts, Anthony Richardson, got a bone worked on in his head. Is that
Yeah,
true?
the orbital bone.
Orbital bone. Okay, I'm not sure quite what that is, but okay. Will that make him a smarter quarterback going forward?
No, but actually his vision should get better. So he may improve that way, but
Hey,
smarter probably not.
So he'll be able to see his way to the bench a little clearer, is what you're saying, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
But he still see money's still green, right? He can still see that. So
Well, not if you're losing on that bet to Kennesaw State or whoever the hell you're betting on. I shit.
hey,
I
there's
don't.
still time. They actually kickoffs in 1 minute, so you still got time to get some action in.
Well then I better get going real quick. But you guys, I love your show, Greg. Keep doing good work. But hey, do me a favor.
yeah.
If you see that chubby feller with Down syndrome, tell him I'm real proud of him and keep his spirits up. He's doing a good job. And you know, guys like that, they always need some self confidence, and we need to help them along.
Okay. I will
Oh,
share that.
Carl, I heard if you call in one more time, then you get the recurring guest T-shirt, and Greg will ship it out to you. So
Well, you know, I kind of don't go much for the t-shirts and stuff. I like the
uh,
flannel shirts myself.
you're more of a Kenny Chesney, no shirt, no shoes type of guy, huh? That's how the fungal infection started.
Uh, Not really. I think it's from wearing the steel toe boots too long, but that's okay.
Could be. Well, Carl, I'll be sure to pass on that message to Chubby. Uh,
Let that feller know
that
you
Carl
guys
cares. What? Hello.
have a good night.
Good night to you.
I don't know what you didn't understand about that, but have a good night.
You do the same, Carl.
Nice talking
Thank,
to you, Carl.
Yeah, good night there, sucker. Talk to you later.
Bye, Carl.
Bye.
Oh, we always love having Carl on. He's always good.
Yes.
Good time. Good time, Carl. We're going to call him that from now
We
on. And
love the
he's our biggest
support.
supporter.
Love the support.
Yeah. So thank you, Carl. But all right, well, now we've done that. Now we got to get to the waiver wire. What to do's here? What to doozy woozies? Denzel never has any idea of what to do. All right. But we gotta have a little bit of an idea, and I some weeks it's easier than others, and I don't know how it's gonna be this week. I think it's easy this week with one, but otherwise could be a tough call. So anybody on the QB list that you'd be willing to, either A, play this week or B, stash to hope that they might be good someday.
On that list, I mean, Sam Darnold, I think, is viable, the most viable. I still probably wouldn't touch Tua. I don't trust him. Lefty quarterbacks freak me out. Um, Devin Singletary's sitting there down a little
Well,
bit in the running back, pending obviously Cam Scatterbo's injury. I don't. Do you go to the next one? Do you go more running backs?
we'll talk about the quarterback first. I
Okay,
agree, Sam
sorry,
Darnold, and I agree
sorry.
with you on Tua. I'll take it, but I will say Baltimore's defense did better. I think they played Chicago this week,
Yes,
and they
and,
look
and they
better. So
yeah,
we'll
they're
see. But
figuring it
yeah,
out a little bit.
all these other people, I'm with you. I don't know about them, but we will move on to running back.
Sorry,
And
I
Devin
got ahead of myself
Singletary is on my list. Why would you mention Devin Singletary?
because Scatterboo's injured, gone, so he should get some more play time.
Yeah, agreed.
But
Another
he's
person
one
who's
that I
injured.
would maybe stash and see what happens.
Another running back injured is Isaiah Pacheco with an MCL sprain. So
Mm,
Brashard Smith, I think, would be another good one to take a chance at because Kareem Hunt got a lot of the work and he probably still will get most of it, but that gives at least Brashard Smith more opportunity there.
mhm,
Otherwise, pick your backup is kind of where we're at with a
yeah.
lot of these. All right, let's go to wide receivers. Anyone on this list you like?
Uh, maybe like if you need him in a pinch, maybe Zacchaeus for a week, just because if Luther Burden's going to be out, I don't know if he's because I know Burden was returning kicks, so I don't know if Zacchaeus is going to slide back there. So I don't know about that,
True.
but I mean, maybe Darius Slayton just kind of depends on how that offense changes if they have to like adapt without Scatterboo in. Um, would be kind of my couple to look at.
Yeah, I like those, especially the Slayton part, 'cause I think Jackson Dart likes to throw it deep, so that's Slayton's bread and butter right there. So boom bust kind of play, but at this point in the season, that's legit what you're looking at.
Hmm.
Shamir DK had a huge game this past week as well with the Tennessee Titans. If Calvin Ridley is still hurt, I think he could be a viable option as well. But a few players, but again, we're in that boom bust kind of situation anyway. So anybody you're taking, just if you think they got a chance for a touchdown, or maybe go against the defense because you mentioned Zacchaeus. If Burden doesn't play, they're playing Cincinnati, who has one of the worst defenses in the league. That could be
True.
good to go against. So I like that call. Last but not least, our tight ends. Anyone here that you think could be a good option to throw in this week?
I think I did. I think I had Jawan Johnson at one point.
I had him
Um,
too. He's not a bad play most of the time.
yeah. I mean, I just don't know what they're doing down in New Orleans because obviously Tyler Shuck was in this
Yeah,
weekend, and so it's like okay, you'd hope that maybe if he gets another week of practice. But honestly, a couple like decently big names. Dalton Schultz, I feel like is always good for some, but I mean, tough matchup this week. Um,
yeah.
I mean,
Theo Johnson's at the top of the list. Another
yeah,
guy where they don't have many options in New York.
right.
So if you feel like that's what you want to do, but who knows? And AJ Barner, I don't know because he's actually been really usable this year. He's the tight end for Seattle, and
Mhm.
he's done very well this year. The last one I will actually mention. Sorry, I'm throwing it out. If Puka Nakua somehow does not play this week, I think Tyler Higbee could be a possible option because he did well
Right.
last time when Puka was not in. But they're just coming off of a bye. Puka should play, but if he
Yeah.
doesn't,
Yeah.
Tyler Higbee could be another option. And that gets us out of the waiver wire streets and right into Trade Central. And Denzel is trying to motivate people to make some trades. He's like, come on, everybody, make some trades. I might be trying to make some trades this week myself. I've appreciated Chubby. I know he was trying to make some trades also. And, like sometimes that's the best way to improve our team, especially when we're seeing what we're seeing in the waiver wire, which
Yeah.
is
I
not
may be I may be
much.
down to make some trades. I don't know if I have much to give, but I could be interested.
Yeah, and I think with teams like ours, we kind of got to be more flexible and like getting rid of some good people to get something else too, and feel that uncomfortable nature because we're already in an uncomfortable spot. So that can be tough. But let's get some trades going, everybody. Denzel says so. All right, comment of the week. I like this one. I liked when Andy was giving Tyler some crap about Purdue and Tyler said the Drew Brees would hold the Super Bowl trophy when he's with the Saints. So it was what you couldn't find a Purdue gift holding a trophy, and I loved it because yeah, there probably isn't much out there.
No, probably not.
Yeah, they're not as good anymore. But when they had Drew Brees, they were. That was
Oh
that
yeah.
was good times in Purdue. All right, well, let's get to where we stand after week 8. Still, the East looks the exact same. That's kind of the funny part is no one has moved any spots in the East. However, have some separation going on in the East there. We got, the haves at the top three, and then the have-nots at the bottom here. And on the other side in the West, we got a little more going on. You got, yes, Ricky's Rodent Rockets still at the top at 6-2, but there's been some shakeup in the West where Sobro Cases Aces they are at number 2 at 4-4. Murphy's Law at number 3 at 4-4, and then Beat the Swifties has made a jump up. They leapfrogged Cheesehead champions, even though both are 3-5. Beat the Swifties have scored a few more points than that, whereas Suckadicka at the bottom. All right, now let's move on to the the statistics here. Okay, we have Chubby Down syndrome, the first to eclipse that 1,000 point mark. However, with kicker hardly nowhere winning high score of the week 2 weeks in a row, she is gaining and is now number 2 in points for this year at just shy of 940, with Sobro Cases Aces being the only other team in the 900s, with multiple kind of following them from about 890 down to 860 and so forth. Making moves, myself and Louie, always making moves. That's what we are here to do, moving and shaking, and it has helped us tremendously. We are still, started at the bottom, and we're still here. It's
Still
kind of
here.
where that's going for us right now. But I always love to check it. And we got a couple streaks going of some losing streaks and some winning streaks. So Kicker Hardly Knower has won 4 in a row. Chubby Down syndrome's won 7 in a row. So started out 0-1, has not lost since that week 1. But couple that are going down and losing. Cheesehead Champions have lost 4 in a row now, and Litro Lotus has lost 6 in a row. That is tough. Where everyone else is kind of in that moment of one or two games or lost 1 or 2. So riding the waves. But some tough goes for some and some real nice winning for some others. Now let's go into our matchups for this coming week. We're going to start with kicker Hardly Knower, with second in the East, going up against Sobro Cases Aces, who are second in the West. We have a second place smash going on this week. Obviously, some lineup adjustments that need to be made. Maybe they don't even have the people to put in there right now. We don't know. But based on what you're seeing, any way that you lean with this matchup?
Um, I mean, I think a lot of Allison's players are going to be coming back on. Like, obviously, Brees Hall's off, but you're going to get David Montgomery back, and JSN has just been on a war path this year. So,
Yep.
adding that back into the lineup really helps. And then hopefully CMC bounces back. I mean, I'm just looking. I mean, I feel like even with adjustments, it should be a pretty tight game. It's just really
Yep.
that like boom or bust. It's like, does Bijan bounce back against New England? And I mean Washington's defense isn't very good, so JSN should be able to kind of score some points. So
Yeah.
um, I think the big thing here is the quarterbacks. Like Patrick Mahomes going against Buffalo is going to be a really big game just in general for the NFL. And then you're
Yeah.
looking at Bo Nix versus Houston, two of like probably the top 5 defenses in the league. So I think that'll kind of set the tone there for who gets the edge overall.
Yeah, I would agree. And all of her matchups currently are away. She's going to add JSN. That's away for him. So most of her players are playing away. And while that might not be something that we think about that often, it can be impactful within the game. And to your point, Bo Nix and Franklin this past week playing against Dallas, which is one of the worst defenses, combined for almost 60. So I think it was like 55 points or something like that they combined for. Whereas this week they're going against one of the top defenses, and they are away as well. So they're going to Houston to play. That's one where I don't see them doing that same thing, and therefore you might need to make adjustments there. Who knows? But yeah, it should be a fairly even battle. I would agree. I think
Mhm.
they're both second place in their respective divisions for a reason because they both have very good teams with some good depth. And may the best team win. I think it'll be similar to last week with Allison versus Tyler at that point. All right. Let's move on to the next one where we have two fourth place teams in their divisions going against each other. We have Meow Meow at 3-5 and fourth in the East, going up against Beat the Swifties at 3-5 and fourth in the West. And as I've titled it, we have the best fourth place teams in fantasy football in any league anywhere, in my opinion, going up against each other this week. Because these are both teams that I've touted multiple times on these podcasts that, hey, I think they're a better team than their record shows. And their projected point total, I think, screams that as well. What do you say, Sam?
I mean, I think it's just a big running back battle. Who can get which running back can get in the end zone? I mean, Gibbs, Swift, ETN. You got Henry, Vidal, Walker, and then Krusky Merritt sitting on the bench over there. So it's like that's kind of what kills you or gets you to wins here is like more touchdowns than points. So
Yeah.
touchdowns than like carries or yards or anything like that. So I think that's what it'll most likely come down to. I mean, both quarterbacks are playing pretty well. Both like kind of wide receivers are kind of, I'd say pretty even. So whoever gets more, I mean, most dumb statement of the year, whoever gets more touchdown wins. But I mean, I think it's more like the running backs in general.
And I can agree with you on that. And even look at their matchups. Actually, they have a lot of favorable matchups in general on both sides with that. You had
Hmm.
mentioned last week, that Miami defense, you'd think Bijan would get more than he did because they're not a great defense, and then he didn't. But Derrick Henry, I can tell you, I mean, he's going to smash some heads probably, but Tennessee, not a great defense. Washington, not a great defense. Dallas, not a great defense. Cincinnati, not a great defense. Las Vegas, not a great defense. So these are all
Right.
teams that they're facing. So I understand why their projections are so high because their matchups are going up against some terrible defenses where this should be a high scoring affair as long as these guys come through. So the only question I would have on Meow Meow side is Darnell Mooney, is that going to continue? Because that's the only tough matchup there. New England is a tough matchup. Will he have an answer for that or not? We will see. But another very close battle. I think the second game we're getting into, but second close battle that we'll have. So good luck to both teams here. All right. Next up, this is a tough one. Denzel Winnington at 3-5 and fifth in the East, going up against the number one team in the West of Ricky's Rodent Rockets, titled this Say Uncle, because I might have to tap out on this one. Who knows? Um, Which way do you see this one leaning?
Well, you got a lot of dashes and O's on your bench, which makes it a
I
little bit
do.
makes
Yes.
it a little bit tough. I mean, I think, fantasy football wise, you got, I don't want to say lucky, but I mean, Josh Allen going against like a Kansas City defense that's starting to really like turn it on. I mean, it's Josh Allen, so he's going to score somewhat,
Yeah.
but I mean, I mean, I could be dead wrong, but where he could go for, 40 against, Carolina, getting him against Kansas City kind of really helps you out here. So, I mean, it's
So,
basically, does Tucker Craft continue kind of his dominant scoring points and being like a really big target there? And then obviously I think Nico Collins should be coming back. So I mean, I think it's just you're leaning on those like big matchups. Like, can Josh Jacobs really score to kind of mirror what some of the big guys are going to do on their side?
yeah, that's a interesting game going up against Carolina just because I don't feel they are that stellar of a team. And I have this fear that the Green Bay defense will just kind of manhandle them and therefore make it a more of a Josh Jacobs game. And I picked up Joe Flacco for this exact reason of Love actually outscored him this past week, so I should have played Love, but it wasn't like Joe Flacco still scored almost 30, so it wasn't like it was a bad play altogether. But trying to get some separation there is my thought. And then I don't know what to do with George Kittle. I have him on my bench right now, but I that kind of worries me to do that because he's a guy that can pull a Tucker Craft. So to your point, maybe I have to put a Kittle in to go against him. However, Aronde Gadsden has been great the past couple of weeks, and how do you bench a guy that obviously Herbert hasn't been throwing to? I don't know. So it's a few questions on my end, and on his end, I actually look at. I mean, he now because of the Scatterboo injury has Tyrone Tracy that is now the lead running back for the Giants. So he actually has four solid running backs that he could throw out there if he would like to. And that's only because Quinshon Judkins is slightly injured and on bye. He'll eventually have five. So, if anybody's looking for a running back, he might have one for you because he's got a few good ones there. But yeah, I'm always going to lean against myself just for the self-deprecation aspect of it. But at the end of the day, I think this will be close because I like a lot of my matchups within
Mm-hmm.
that. But I think he has a better team. So to your point, kind of getting lucky in like he's got a better team, but they're going against tougher matchups. My team's not
Mm-hmm.
as good, but going against better matchups. So we'll see
Right.
which part wins out in that. I will get a different defense as well. I'm not playing my defense against my quarterback, so that won't happen. But anywho, all right, let's move on. We have in our next matchup the Jerry Jones Hate Club at 6-2 and third in the East. So don't let that third fool you. He is 6-2, going against Murphy's Law, who's 4-4 and third in the West. But the Jerry Jones Hate Club, they are in need of a running back because not only is Saquon Barkley on bye, but Cam Scatterboo is done for the year and he does not have anything on his bench to actually replace it with. So he will have to dumpster dive this week or make a trade with the guy I just mentioned of, you know, that Ricky's Rodent Rockets. That might be something that they try to figure out. What do you see in this matchup and which way do you lean?
I mean, as of right now, it's just Murphy's Law, obviously, just with the point differential there. Um, But I mean, Matt Stafford, I mean, it's kind of the same thing you were talking about with Jordan Love is like you expect the Rams who are playing really good coming off of a bye to just kind of torch New Orleans, but it's like, is it going to be like three big catches for Puka Nakua for some touchdowns, or is it just going to be like hey, we're going to get out of this game and just run it out? So Stafford coming back is big, but how much is that going to actually affect the game right now? So I mean, I think if Jerry Jones Hate Club can wheel and deal and maybe get a running back here, I mean, he's got some solid trade pieces on his bench. Like he's one of
Yeah.
the ones where it doesn't say injured reserve or out, a decent amount of trade pieces. I think he's got a good shot of taking the dub here.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And it's funny you mentioned that Rams Saints game him having Matthew Stafford. 'Cause on the other end, he's not starting him right now, but Murphy's Law, they have Kyron Williams, who's a running back for the Rams on the bench. So depending on what you believe the game script will be, that could be an interesting play because obviously Jerry Jones Hate Club is going to play Matt Stafford. They have to because Baker Mayfield's on bye. So that's going in. Do you ever look at that or ever think of that as a way to play this game that we play of fantasy football to say, hey, I actually think that they're going to run the ball more against New Orleans, and therefore I'm going to put Kyron in to actually counterbalance what he's throwing in as with the quarterback, or is that just a non-factor to you, and you just think I'm just want to here's what I think are the best plays of the week?
I mean, for the most part, I normally just do best players. I think like the big thing more is like the wide receivers, just because it's like the touchdown aspect of it. So it's like if it's a wide receiver versus like if the other team has like, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, or just because I'm looking at Jamar Chase. So something like that, maybe something different if I do have another quarterback that I can throw out there. But I think that's kind of more the way I look at it.
Yeah, I think you mentioned both have good benches. Murphy's Law, I think, has one of the best in our league, if not the best in our league. When you look at what he still has on the bench, and I drool over that. I'm like, gosh, that would be real nice
Hmm.
to have. Uh, I do think, hey, and I if it was me, I'm putting in Kyron over J.K. Dobbins, but I don't know if I'm fully doing that or do I take. But Michael Pittman's been great. Keenan Allen's going against Tennessee. They're terrible. There's so many. He's got some good matchups this week that you got to
Hmm.
wade through all of that. And there's almost sometimes we have too many riches to then have to make
Right.
decisions and potentially make the wrong one in the end. So good luck to both sides with that, making those choices. All right, next up, um, really we have a couple guys that I mentioned earlier that are on losing slides right now. So we have Lecho Logis at 1-7 and 6 in the East, going up against Cheesehead champions at 3-5 and 5th in the West. Lecho Logis is currently on a 6-game slide, whereas Cheesehead champions are on a 4-game slide, and the losing must stop, but for just one of them. Which one does the losing stop for?
I mean, getting Puka back makes me lean that direction, and I think that Kyler Murray, pending health, can have a big game just because Dallas's defense isn't that good. But then Lamar Jackson comes back, so
Yep, yep.
geez. I think I'm going with Cheesehead on this one. Would be my pick. I just like a couple of the matchups for the heavy hitters a little bit more.
And I'm going opposite. And partly Lamar Jackson's back. Don't know what he's going to be like, so that'll be interesting. You can't expect the explosion that you might normally expect. But one of the things I actually like, Amon Ross coming back after being on the bye, so that's obviously nice for him too. But one of the I think things that I believe Kareem Hunt's projection right now is only like 8 points. That's not going to be what it is. I feel like because Pacheco's out, that is actually helpful. Rather,
Mhm.
like that actually I think helps Lecho more than Pacheco being healthy because then Kareem Hunt's going to get most of those carries. Whereas now not that they
Right.
split it evenly, but they kind of do. Kareem Hunt gets a lot of goal line work already. So I do feel like I lean the opposite way just because of that. I think that Kareem Hunt, Pacheco being out, him having Kareem Hunt, that's going to work out better in Lecho's favor. Um, I hope both of you, someone's got to give. They're both going to get different defenses. A, because
Yeah.
Lecho has to, but B, I think Cheesehead has to. If you're when your defense is projected for less than 3 points and their average is negative, like you're going to get a different defense there too. So we'll see some different defenses coming at them as well. Be an interesting one. I'm going to keep my eye on this one. I'm pushing for you, Litro. I think you've had a better team. It's just those running backs hurting you, and I don't think this week they will. I think they'll come through for you. Okay, this is our last matchup, and this is your matchup.
I was
Does
doing
the doc?
process of elimination as the teams matchups were coming across. I was like, uh-oh.
So this week we have Chubby Down syndrome at 7-1 and first in the East, going up against Suckadicka at 2-6 and six in the West. And I put Does the Doctor Have the Remedy? It was really more towards remedy for getting yourself back on track. But I also realized that his name is Chubby Down syndrome, and there was really no remedy for it. That's not the purpose. But as I'm reading them, I'm like, that's not what I meant, but it's going to come across that way. Um, how do you feel like instead of going into like who's going to win and what's that look like? You have some adjustments that you have to make because you don't have a quarterback right now, and obviously your flex, you're probably going to change it up anyways. But he's also on bye. Where are you at with it? What are you thinking? Love to hear your side.
I mean, we're just guys are gonna have to dig deep. We're gonna have to just put the best team out there. Um, I think CD and Devon Achan are some good pieces that I could potentially be throwing on the trade block here, trying to get a couple bigger fish coming back my way, but just don't. My team just doesn't really have the depth that's needed. You're looking down like, all right, we got to make some adjustments, and I feel like I've been getting a little unlucky with like bye weeks and just like as I've been making moves, it's like okay, whether it's like an injury or a bye week, it's like then I got to drop somebody and like try to kind of make scramble and make some moves with some of that stuff to fill some holes. So. Um, we'll just have to see what we can throw out there.
Would you consider getting rid of CD Lamb even though you're facing Dak Prescott?
I mean, depends on what comes back. That's
Sure.
the thing. It's like, a 1 week remedy versus,
Yeah.
the rest of the season. If
Yeah.
we were talking about who was it, Jerry Jones needing a running back. Well, I got a pretty solid. I mean, this week maybe against Baltimore, but Achan's been pretty decent this season, averaging 20 points. So I mean, if I can get some more pieces back, yeah, it'd be nice to counter punch that with, Prescott and CD Lamb. But if I can get something back that's bigger than that for the rest of the season, I'd probably make that move.
All right. Well, maybe we'll talk. I'm looking for a wide receiver right now, and maybe I can help you out here.
I'm
We
looking
never
for some
know.
wins, so let me know.
Yeah, same. So, and I don't know. I make terrible moves, so usually when I make a move, just know you'll win. I don't know. I just how it goes. But um, I definitely have some needs. You got some needs. We're at the bottom here. But yeah, I think to your point now is that moment of if you ran a table, you'd be 8-6. You'd have like that's a record that gets you in the playoffs. You know it. 7-7, it's a toss up, right? And so at that point, it comes down to points and points
Right.
scored, and then you feel like if I've been at the bottom and I'm trying to get back up there, will I end up getting to the points that I need? So yeah, you and I are at that cusp of like I gotta be pushing this. I think I can afford a loss just to get to, but that's it. Like, and guess what? I've done
Right.
a lot more losing than winning, so that's tough. But on the other side, yeah, he's got a tough team. Going to be tough to face him this week. I don't know if he has anything else that he's trying to do with his lineup. It looks like it is set for what he wants currently. He's not a guy that makes a lot of moves either. So far, I think there's only three of us in double digits on making moves, and that's me, Louie, and EJ. So not many moves have been made in general by anybody. So it's always interesting to me when that happens to see what others going to try to do. So
Mhm.
I lean Chubby's way just because that's just how it's gone. He's first in the East
Yeah.
and number
Yeah.
one team.
Same.
Yeah, you're at the bottom here, the six in the West. Like so, you lean that way, but you never know. This is football, and things go a little cray cray. I will say. You do have the Rams defense, which is probably the best defense to have this week. They're going against New Orleans and that Tyler Shuck kid who he definitely shucks. So that team's just terrible. Just awful for that team. But good luck this week. And good luck to everybody in the FFFL this week. I wish you all could win, but you can't. So only half of us can do that thing. But I hope the right people win. I hope Suckadicka wins. That way, we can get, again, I'm always liking to squeeze us into like that parody moment, like, it's anybody's game. And we, as you saw in the West, multiple 4-4s and 3-5s. I mean, that's up. That division is up for grabs right now for the top spot. So, good luck to everybody.
Well, yeah, that's how you get more viewers for the podcast. You want tighter tables out there, more viewers, more sponsors, more money.
Yes, it's like the UTEP Kennesaw State game.
Oh, speaking of that, just check the score on that puppy.
Yeah. Now, are you betting over under of a score? Like, what do you bet?
I bet it all. Don't tell Haley, but
Okay.
I'm
Well,
a,
she don't watch this anyways. We don't have her as a
no, I
viewer.
know, but if she catches wind, no, I bet it all. I mean, it's what I just, well, Kennesaw is currently winning, and so is James Madison, which is good for me. So,
Okay.
but
Well,
yeah, I just like I basically just I don't do a lot, but I just do it because it's like if I'll turn the game on, it's like I like to have a rooting interest because it's a Tuesday night, so it's like you got to
yeah.
do something if you're
Yeah.
not on the podcast, So hopefully Carl took the advice and he's betting on the game and now he's sweating a little bit, so he's got some extra money to head out to Wally World.
Definitely. And where he's located and where he lives, I know that domain, he is definitely sweating right now. I mean, it's just, he's got no sort of air movement of any kind in that little shack of
Hasn't taken the
his.
steel toes off. That's the problem.
Correct. He's got to let them puppies breathe, and he's not doing it. I think he's scared. That's just where it goes. But I appreciate you, Carl. Thank you for calling in again. Always good to connect with Carl. Obviously Zach was calling for him, and he got him this week, so that was nice. Well, Sam, thank you for joining me on this week's podcast. Appreciate you, and I wish you all the best this week. I mean, I need you to turn around. You, me, Louie, we're at the bottom of this shit right now.
Yep.
So we're the champions are getting stomped right now.
Yeah, all three former champs are just on the bottom.
Just crazy. It's just crazy this year. That's not normally how it goes, but hey, that's how it's going this year. If I face the punishment, I face the punishment. We'll see. But if you face the punishment, it'll be interesting too. Maybe you'll go up to the winery. It'll be nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not driving 3.5 hours on top of the punishment, but
That'd be cool. Well, Sam, good to see your face, and we'll get to see you soon, at least at Thanksgiving. That's about the next time I think we'll see you, probably, right?
Oh yeah.
But you and I will be in discussion before that. Hopefully, we'll get out for a couple more rounds. I think you said you're done for the season, but
Yeah, it's getting cold. It's cold. It's getting dark. I don't know if I got any more in me, but maybe I can sneak out for one. But I don't know.
yeah, we'll have to see. I'll try to get your dad out if I can. We'll figure that
Yeah.
out too. But all right, much love to you, brother.
Cool.
I will see
Good luck,
you on the
everyone.
flip side. Bye, everybody. Peace and love, and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.